Hi everybody, it's Kelly here from Ecuador. I've been here in the capital, Quito, for about a month now. I'm currently 1 week into classes at my university, Universidad de San Francisco in Quito, and so far everything's been great. The weather is not quite what I thought it would be. Even though I'm on the equator, I am in the mountains, and usually I need a light coat to keep warm. Um, right now I'm sitting in my room cold, actually, wishing I had pants on instead of shorts. But otherwise, the weather's fine. It rains, it's sunny, sometimes it's colder, sometimes it's a little hotter. And being in the mountains, I'm about 9,000 feet above sea level. And back home, I've never lived more than 1,000 feet above sea level. So it's been quite a transition for me. The altitude was a lot for me to get used to. It took me a few weeks, uh, but I feel pretty adjusted now. And it used to be when you climbed stairs, you felt fine climbing them, but then at the end, you needed to stop and catch your breath, and you just needed to stand there for a minute and get as much air as you could. And now my body's adjusted. The food here is very, very fresh. All fresh fruit, no preservatives. Everything's bought within a couple of days of when it's made. Everything I eat here is very healthy. It's it was quite a different switch. I don't always know what I'm eating, but it's very good and I enjoy it most of the time. It's interesting to see how different foods compare um, to the United States. For example, fries, pizza, um, everything here is different compared to how it's made in the United States. So sometimes I get excited that I get to eat a food and then it's nothing like what I expected it to be. So I've learned to not really get excited about the food here in general. But it's very good, and I'm learning about a lot of new fruits and vegetables I've never even heard of before that don't even have an English name, to be honest, because they don't really exist in um, outside of where they're grown here in South America. As for Spanish, wow, it's been very interesting. When I got here, my skills were below par, above par. I'm not too sure how the term, but it was terrible. I was not a great speaker compared to other students in my program, but I've learned a lot, and every day I learn something new, a new way to correct what I'm doing. At this point, I'm mostly working on grammar and learning new vocabulary. And I also no longer speak in questions because I finally feel comfortable enough to know what I'm saying and know that it's at least somewhat accurate. Um, but it's a slow process every day. Another topic I want to cover each week is how Ecuador and the United States report on different news stories. This week I'm looking at how the two reported on the withdrawal of troops from Iraq as the U.S. officially ended its war with 50,000 troops left in Iraq. The United States, I read on CNN.com, I was reading the article about it, and it talked about not really what had happened, but the future and hopes of what was going to happen in Iraq. And it was interesting to see how they avoided any negative connotations with the war. Whereas El Comercio, the newspaper here in Ecuador, they talked about all the facts that happened, all the wrongdoings, the neglect, the whether or not the United States should have been in Iraq, and it was just very straightforward with only a couple sentences quoting what Obama had said in hopes of the future. And it was interesting, although not surprising, to see that it was covered that way. That CNN was a little bit more hopeful for the United States, where El Comercio was a little bit more blunt and stated the facts only. Every week, I'm going to have a word of the week to show the importance of some words and their meanings in Spanish, um, especially here in Ecuador. This week's word is seguir, meaning to follow or to continue. Um, it was a word I never really learned before I came here, and it's used all the time here. When you get on buses or out in public, you hear it all the time as siga, siga, and siga no mas, and it just means keep doing what you're doing, keep going. If you're getting on the bus, get on. If you're getting off, do what you need to do. Um, and that's the formal way. And then I hear sigue all the time, sigue no mas, which means if you're being excused from the dinner table or if you're trying to get past somebody after you say excuse me, they say it. So it is an important word, and I just can't get it out of my head. Sigue no mas all the time, and it's just it's used a lot more, and I never really learned it before I came here. So here I am studying abroad in Quito, Ecuador for 6 months. I had help with funding my abroad experience through the Gilman Scholarship. It is a federally funded scholarship, and the only thing is you have to be receiving a Pell Grant. So if you're interested, go to the website and check out the scholarship. Adios.